right, Kyle fans, welcome back to another episode, the first one of a new season, the Coyote Football Stats Show. We are excited to be here with you. I am Phil Morgan.
I'm Blake Grundy, and this is our first time officially seeing you guys since we won state, since they put up the lettering on the stadium that signifies how we were the 2023 state champions. And listen, I've got to say it, because rumor has it that Chapel Hill still hasn't scored a touchdown yet. They've had months to do it, and no touchdowns have been scored.
In typical Stat Show fashion, we are rubbing it in.
No, we're just pumped up and celebrating our boys.
No, it was a great game, man. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of you are probably freaking out right now. You're like, did I miss a game? What am I missing?
Wait, what time of the year is it?
No, so we're doing a spring summer stat show just to kind of give you guys up to date. The goal for today really is to kind of walk through the change, the transition into 5A football, what that means for the program, what that means for us as fans, what that means for our boys who are playing these games. And so that's our intent, is to take a deep dive into 5A today and to help get us all up to speed and on the same page as we get ready to enter into this kind of new world.
Yeah, and so one of the big things that's different early on, the biggest thing that's different for 5A versus 4A is the fact that we get to have spring practices and a spring game now. And that's a big deal, because that defense that Chapel Hill did not score a touchdown on, all 11 of those guys are gone.
Yeah.
And real quick, as another aside, we also said goodbye to our defensive coordinator, our assistant head coach, Coach Ramos. Hey, just real quick, I want to say thank you to that man. He led these boys, loved these boys in such a great way, and he did such a good job of helping to turn our program around and turning Anna from a program that many people had never heard of or believed would never do anything to a program that lots of people have heard of and, in fact, are coming from distances to try and take down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And I'll just say a couple things. Like,
yes.
we had the distinct privilege of getting to pastor lead that family. And Coach Ramos and his entire family are such sacrificial, servant-hearted leaders who go out of their way to really invest in the people that are around them. And those of you that are privileged to have him as your new head coach, which is really cool. He's a head coach now.
He is. And athletic director.
Yeah, and you're not going to regret it. The guy is a servant leader. Mm-hmm. He oozes leadership, and I will say that the guys who were a part of his death squad last year,
yes,
right, and let's just be fair, like that's a huge product of his hard work, is that death squad, and that death squad is going to be what's going to, it's a legacy. Every year the bar has been set because of his leadership and the work of these kids that have come as a result of what Coach Ramos did. So we miss him. We miss him terribly, but we know he's in a great place doing a good thing.
Yeah, we're happy for him and his family.
Yeah, getting his shot, man. Like this, he's
deservedly
this.
so.
Yeah, man, without a doubt. So, Coach, if you happen to be watching, if you happen to catch this stat show, nothing but love, man.
Yeah, go ahead. We love and appreciate you.
Yeah, we're excited to watch the stats roll in for another program, because we may not get to do a stat show for you, but we're going to be watching, brother. We love you and wish you nothing but a great season.
Yeah, and so the spring game allows us to have that opportunity to welcome in our new D coordinator, to welcome in 11 new starters on defense and kind of get their reps going, and we get to see what our offense is going to look like next year. Some of those high flyers and all of these kids that have moved in, or their parents, relocated because of jobs, or the holes we're filling. All of those things are really, really good. And so 5A allows us to have that spring game and that month long of spring practices that our Coyotes took advantage of.
Yeah, man, it was fun to watch too.
It was cool.
It's a great first, I think, leap into that schedule.
Agreed.
I know us having we got the opportunity to get out there for the purple white game, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Watching some new kids, which is going to be fun to talk about a little bit later in our stat show here. But honestly, it just helps us understand, right, that the schools we're playing are a little bit bigger.
Yep, they are.
Right, the talent pool is a little bit bigger.
Yes.
The spotlight with media and everything else, all eyes, well, they get a little bit more focused.
They do.
And they get a little more numbered. It gets a little bit bigger,
mm-hmm.
because everything in Texas is a little bit bigger.
Hey,
5A football is bigger, guys, and
everything's bigger in Texas.
It's a different animal, and so we're going to jump into some very specific stuff, and I'll let you maybe handle as we jump into the schedule.
Let's do it.
Let's jump right into the schedule, and you can lead us off with what's some really great and fun news.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick breakdown, and so our Week 1 opponent is a team that's coming out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. School, Oakland High School. They're led by a head coach named Kevin Creasy, and if he happens to see this, and Coach Creasy, if I said your name wrong twice now, I apologize. But hey, listen, they released a hype video for this game on X, and it was really cool to see. They put the Stars at Night Are Big and Bright over the top of it. That song, I won't sing it, so you don't have to take it out, so we don't lose subscribers. Because
I'd have to edit it.
That'll happen. But this is a pedigreed program coming out of Tennessee to come play the reigning state champions. And so listen, Oakland has won 7 state titles in their program history. Their most recent 3 state titles were in 2020, 2021, and 2022. 2023 they were state runners up, and so like this is a storied program. They went 12-3 last year. They were 4-1 in district. Like I said, they got second place overall in the state. They have 7 state titles, 5 runner-ups, and so they're really good. They graduated a lot of really good players, but they've got a couple of kids coming back.
They got some dudes coming back. Like DeJuan Morris is one of them. You know,
he was fun to watch some clips of. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, he was. You know, and before we talk about DeJuan much, I want you guys to know we're gonna highlight from each team. Maybe 1-2 players max.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into all their committed offers and things like that. We're picking out some highlights, some things that we think are intriguing, some stuff that we think we want to keep our eye on as fans as we prepare and watch our Coyotes prepare for these games that are coming up. This season is packed with good teams. A lot of them. Yeah, man, and I don't think that this team from Oakland High School, the Patriots, I don't think they come in here as a team that we can sleep on. I think we're gonna these guys are gonna have to be prepared because DeJuan Morris is gonna come hungry. Kid had 2,500 all-purpose yards last year. I think he
33 rushing touchdowns.
30. No, it was 38 total. 33 rushing, 38 total touchdowns on the year. He's a hard commit to USC. I got feelings about the whole USC thing, but that's a whole.
There's no love lost there.
There's no love lost.
Something with
there,
OU and USC for you.
We won't get into that. This is the Coyote Stat Show. You're going to question that as we get going, but that's okay. Hang tight. DeJuan had a great year last year. I think they gave him Mr. Football Award. He was
one of the 3 finalists.
3 finalists. He was the finalist. That's right.
Yeah.
So listen, the film was.
He's a stud.
Oh my gosh, dude.
He had there was one play we watched where he took the ball up the gut, kind of off of between the center and the left guard, and he had a jump cut out to the left side out to the perimeter, and he was just gone.
His ability to change direction is I mean, he can turn on a dime, man. He plants a foot and change course, and it's fast, it's quick, and he can explode out of it too. So it's gonna be a lot of fun watching our defense.
It's going to be a good early season test for that new 11.
Can this new 11 step up to? I mean, listen. Here's the reality. Anna has a culture. Death Squad set the bar.
Right? By giving up no touchdowns in the state title game to Chapel Hill.
by giving up no touchdowns to Chapel Hill in the state title game. Yes, 100%. I think we said it 4 times now total. And so DeJuan's going to come in. He's going to want his touchdowns. You know, he's going to want those. He's a hard commit to USC. He's going to want to prove to his future coaches who he is and what he is, and that he's a real deal. And we're going to have to stop him.
And on the other side of the ball, there's a young man by the name of Craig Tutt. He is a 3-star. He's not committed yet. He's got 18 offers. He plays safety. He's 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. He's a ball hawk. He gets all over the field. He makes some tackles, and so he's going to be looking to lay some wood on some people, to deliver some hits, to make Zai's life harder because we have a young stud QB. And this is going to be a good test for him, a good early test. But listen, I mean, like when it comes down to it, even the players we didn't mention, the other 20 players that are going to start on offense, defense that we haven't talked about, what it's going to come down to is this school is going to come out of Tennessee, and they're going to want to walk away and say, Tennessee's football is better than Texas football. And so that's the kind of attitude that they're going to come with. And so we've got to come prepared.
Yeah, we're representing states here. You're not just representing purple in this situation. And that's the thing that's great about these out-of-state games is you start wearing your state flag. You start kind of having a little bit of pride for Texas and pride for Tennessee, and it's going to be a great clash. They're coming here. right? We get to host them.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of really great things to that. You know, and I'm excited. I'm excited for our program. I'm excited for their kids to get to travel to come play a game.
It's
going to
be a cool experience for them.
Yeah, man, that's fun, and this should be fun. It should be fun for us as fans. It should be fun for our boys, and the competition's going to be great. And listen, it's just going to keep ramping up.
It is,
right. So not only we get them week 1, week 2, our next non-district game goes against the Gunner High School Tigers. Right, they are the defending 3A state champs.
They're one of 2 premier programs at the 3A level.
Right, and they have the last several years have been just dominant.
It's
Jake Feisel's their head coach, and he has really cranked out a high flying, high powered offensive juggernaut in Gunner. But I'm going to say this: I love the fact that they're punching up.
Yes,
I love it. Like to me, as a competitor, you know, I love the idea that you want to play against the best. We're going to talk about this concept all throughout this stat show. You know, you can't rest on the fact that you're the best unless you played the best to get there.
Right.
Right. And so Gunner wants to come and play a bigger school. They want to come in and be a part of a non-district matchup with us. And so last year they go 16-0.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
They had a common opponent. They beat Walnut Grove 64-24.
Yep.
Right, which is great. They put up a lot of points against them. That's 17 more points than we allowed. I'm just saying. And they've got some turnover, like every team. But behind that turnover is a bench. Right, every one of these teams, and that's the thing that when we look at our defense versus what we had last year, we had some guys that were learning behind the desk squad.
Yeah.
And they got guys too, and you've got a safety in Gunner who's outstanding, and you can talk about him.
Yeah, Colin Peacock is the safety we're talking about. He's listed at 6'1", 185. All of this stuff, by the way, is coming off of 24/7 Sports. Yep. So that's where we're getting stars and rankings and things like that, just so that if anybody's trying to fact check us, like, listen, we did our homework, we're there. But he's committed to Baylor, 3-star kid.
You fact check me, bro. I don't get paid enough to have you fact check me. I'll say you say what you want. They can fact check you.
They can. We won't go there. Come at me, bro. But Colin Peacock, he's a good safety, man, and he's. Once again, I love that it's going to be another test for Zai early, like another DB that's going to work on our receiving core that's going to try and stop Zai, and that's going to be a good test for our offense. And like you said, one of the fun things about their offense and what our defense will face against Gunner is it appears like it's going to be really different from what Oakland is going to bring in. And so our defense is going to get to prepare for 2 different schemes in back-to-back weeks, which is only going to make them better. And so I love that, like you said, Gunner's punching up. I love that we have the opportunity to play them. And I love that it's going to present some differing looks for our defenses, for our offense. And it's going to be a fun opening 2 weeks.
Listen, on paper, the Gunner Coyote game looks fun.
It should be fun. Both of those games are at home, by the way, which means that we get to start the season right. Tailgating it out.
Yeah, come on.
Stuffing the stands.
Yeah, let's lock it out. Let's make sure it's full to over. Well, I think it's going to be full to overflowing, and I don't think people realize.
Let's overflow it every week.
It'll be the hardest ticket to get in town, I think, at this point, because it's going to be full every week. And
these first 2 weeks are important because week 3 is a bye week.
Well,
we don't get to call it bye week.
No, we don't get. Don't you dare! It's a prep week.
Hang on, yep, Coach Parr. Before you start yelling at us and hit pause and come up here to the office,
don't do it, Coach.
Don't do it, Coach. We hear you. It's not a bye week. They don't get to take the week off. Nope. It is a prep week. It is a get right week, and it is a get better week for our Coyotes.
And let's be fair. Going into 5A against the teams that we're about to run down. That are in our district, you're gonna have to use it, right? They know that, and Coach knows that, and so let's do a quick rundown. Right?
Let's do it.
We come out of the bye week, and then we hit Lovejoy.
Melissa
second right off. Then we go into the Friscos. You get Frisco Independence, Frisco Emerson, Prosper Walnut Grove. Then we go north and we hit
Denison. Then we come back south to Frisco Memorial and Frisco Liberty. And so it's a gauntlet.
That's our district.
Yeah.
Those are the teams that when we get down to the end of the year, those are the games that matter for, getting placed in the playoff, right? Getting to the playoffs. And so these games are important. That's why we're highlighting them. But that's a list of names that we're not used to talking about. right? We're not used to those faces. These are a whole list of new faces, new names, and that's okay because it means that we're stepping up.
It means we don't have to travel 2 hours to a game anymore.
It means that we get much closer games. Now there are other people in the 5A scheme of football that are complaining. They're not too happy about the redistricting, but we are in a pretty good spot. And so as a fan, I love the fact that it feels like the furthest game we've got to travel to is 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I think it's
30, 40 minutes, depending
whether it's
on
south or north. It's 30 minutes.
Whether we're at the Star or the Toyota Center or Toyota Stadium down in Frisco. But hey, so we talked about it. Let's jump into our first district matchup.
So the first one is Lovejoy right off the bat. And look, Lovejoy was no slouch last year, and
they haven't been a slouch in a long time. Right. They're really good. They're a premier program.
Yeah, without a doubt. And they bring back a Hall of Fame, legendary Texas, like legacy. There's not enough adjectives, and he for sure is, heard all of them. But Todd Dodge is coming out of retirement to lead the Lovejoy football program, and it's a team that went 12-2 last year, right? They went undefeated in district. They were first in their district, and then when they got into playoffs, they met a
powerhouse. Let's say a buzzsaw.
Well, and this team that they met in the fourth round ended a lot of runs last year. They ended a lot of dreams. They dashed a lot of dreams last year. So in the fourth round, Lovejoy found a competitor in Sauk and South Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
And South Oak Cliff got it done and ended Lovejoy's season. But I promise you, Todd Dodge will have that team ready.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Todd Dodge is back when South Lake Carroll was winning all of their state championships and back to back. Like he was at the helm of all of that, and so he's a really good coach. He's going to have them with the expectation of championships.
Yeah, one of the things I heard Coach Barr say on an interview not too long ago was, all these teams that we're looking at are good. Everybody keeps what do you think was going to happen with this team, or how these are legacy teams. They're some of the best teams you're going to see in football across the state. Melissa, Lovejoy, Frisco, Emerson. These are some really great teams.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure, like we can respect that, but we got to play football. Like don't crown them now. Like we still got a game to play. And I love that idea. Like, yeah, sure, you're a good team. I can respect that, but we're going to bring in our best team every week, and we're going to fight and fight and fight. And, honestly, toughest team wins. And, I love that fighting, Coach. Like, don't crown them now.
All I can think of when you said that was it Denny Green from the Arizona Cardinals. If you want to crown them, crown them. But we had him. We let him off the hook. No, but hey, listen, that's where my mind goes. If you've ever wondered just what happens inside Blake Grundy's mind, that's some of it. So look, Lovejoy's gonna be really good. They have a young man by the name of Dalen McCutcheon. He is a wide receiver, 6 foot, 175. He's a 4-star. He's got some offers from schools like OU, Florida State, Ohio State, UT, USC, your favorite school in the world, and Bama.
Some blue bloods all through that recruitment right there for that young man. It's because he's fast. And to say he's fast is really just an understatement because he's got the kind of elite speed that separates, and that is what's intriguing to us is see how we defend against a wide receiver rather who can separate, who's got that kind of speed. And I think we're going to have it. I think we're going to have the defenders.
Yeah, we're going to talk about talk about some of that here in a little bit. So we'll roll from Lovejoy and Dalen McCutcheon into the very next week. We're going to go about 7 miles down the road into Melissa.
Don't have to go far.
No, we don't have to go far. Into Melissa, head coach Matt Naley. They were 10-2 last year, 6-1 second to Lovejoy. They lost to Sauk, South Oak Cliff in the second round. And this is another one of the schools. They've won state championships.
Yep.
They've gone deep in the 5A playoffs. This is another really good program that we get to play. That I'm excited to be able to travel down there to that stadium and go in there.
And you've got Dave Campbell's and so many other places that are out there talking about how this is a premier team. Like this is they're looking at this team this year and they've got high expectations for them. They think this team could do some great things, and and the reason they can is because they've got players too.
Yes, they do.
They graduated some dudes last year that went to some really great programs. Yeah. Nigel Smith is one I know because I know.
Where'd he go?
He went to OU.
Oh, okay.
And yet they've got another guy who's a hard commit to OU right now as well.
Oh, yeah.
Is he? Yeah. Offensive lineman Owen Hollenbeck, and he's I mean, he's a hog. Like, he is a straight beast.
He's
a big
hog
kid.
Molly boy.
Yeah, 6'2.5" and 315 pounds. Like, the dude is he's a real deal. He's the kind of size kid you want to see on your offensive line. And right now, he's wearing red, so I'm not a fan.
He's gonna wear red.
When he wears crimson,
there you go.
It's different. It's different.
So they've got
crimson in OU, baby.
Yeah,
then I'll be
right.
a fan.
You're right. I was gonna say it was red again, and Phil's probably gonna reach across here and slap me silly and correct me. But I mean, so the Poole boys also, like the Poole family moved down to Melissa, and hey, we love the Poole boys. We love the Poole family.
You put on cardinal red. I'm sorry,
but they're gonna have cardinal red on that night, and
we're gonna purple, baby.
We're gonna have some purple on, and so they'll become some frenemies that evening.
Good kids, but I want purple to reign.
He's swatting them away like he's swatting the fly away, saying, "Hey, well, that's what we're gonna have to do."
Yep.
So Melissa's gonna be a really good second week of district. We open our district against two of the best teams in the entire state, 5A, 6A.
Yeah.
Throw it out the window. They're just two of the best teams in the state, period, last year.
And the thing is, I love it.
As a fan, start off with a test.
As a fan, I love it. Play the best right off the bat. Like, come on, like, be prepared. You cannot, like, these guys are practicing now. Like, they're doing summer workouts right now. They started summer workouts this week, and they're practicing now for these things, these games, these moments, right? So yeah, good. Let's do it. Like,
our first four opponents are all really, really good opponents, and so I love that we're starting the season off strong.
Yeah, and then so we roll into Frisco next. So after Melissa, we run into Frisco Independence and head coach Nick Stokes. And listen, I'll just say this: sometimes we just report the numbers as they are. This was not a great year for them last year.
No,
they were 1-9. They were 1-5 in district. They lost to Emerson in a big way. A lot of their losses were shutouts, but they lost to Emerson like 72-7.
Yeah,
it was a rough game. They had a rough year, but like a good coach, you got to find a way to build off that. You got to find a way to bounce back, and so I look for Frisco Independence to bounce back a little bit, right? Do a little bit of getting right over the off season,
sure,
and come back and be able to put a little bit more fight forward. So we'll have Frisco Independence coming to our third district game, and then we run into another Frisco school.
Yeah, then we'll be playing Frisco again, and Frisco Emerson this time.
Yeah, it's a different Frisco.
Yeah, they were really, really good last year. Head coach by the name of Kendall Miller. And Coach Miller has done a great job of building that program. That's what Coach Stokes will look to do at Independence. But Coach Miller has done a great job of building Emerson into really a powerhouse program. They went 12-3 last year, 4-2 in district, got them third place. By the way, like this should tell you that if this team got third in their district, like this is the district we're stepping into. This is going to be a really good season for us. Really good tests. They lost to a familiar opponent, Sauk. In the fifth round by a score of 36-24, and look, so they had a great year. They're returning some really good players. They lost some good players, but this is a program that runs deep. And the reality is, whether it was Lovejoy or Melissa or Frisco Emerson losing to Sauk, those three programs. If they had played almost anybody else in the state, they would have advanced to the next week of the playoffs. But Sauk is Sauk, and South Oak Cliff played really well, and that's all good and well. But they've also got a young man at their school.
Hey, this cornerback is something else, and again, it's another kid with tons of offers.
Where's he going?
He's a hard commit to OU. Malik Hawkins. Look, it's going to be fun to watch some of these kids do their thing, and
it must be wonderful having 50% of the creative control of the program and getting to shout out the OU kids.
You didn't pick anybody, so I just picked the guys who were getting recruited.
Because he is a stud. Like there's I can't say he's not. He's a stud.
I mean,
3-star.
He's 116th, ranked 116th overall in the entire nation. Like that's the next level. These kids that we're talking about are all next level. Like they're, in the top, 100, 150 of players in the United States right now. So these are kids that are on these teams, and we've got some of those kids. That's while we're talking about these other teams, we're not absent of the understanding that we've got some players that are going to be ranked pretty high like that too.
Our kids are to come.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them in a minute, so hang tight. So let's roll into Prosper Walnut Grove.
Bring it.
Listen, this was head coach Tommy Allison, his team last year. They went 3-7. They're a freelance team, so they were independent in some ways, and so they didn't really have a district for us to report because of where their school is in terms of its development.
They were in the first 2 years of their school and their program, so they can't technically have a full varsity district schedule and make playoffs. So
a lot of these schools start with underclassmen, and they don't have junior and senior classes, and they grow into that. And so that's why you have these kind of things happening. They had a 52-7 loss to Anna last year. It was a good game for our guys. Our
it was a good homecoming week.
Yeah, buddy, that was so great. And our death squad showed up. And I know that number 7 on that board pains them a little bit. They wanted to pitch a shutout on that one, but it was a great game. Their quarterback for Walnut Grove is returning. He passed for over 2,000 yards last year. He's going to pick up where he left off and probably do a little bit more. They're just going to get better, and it's just a lot of fun to see some of these games coming.
And this will be a circle the date game for Emerson, right? This is hey, we get to try and get some revenge here. So that'll be for Walnut Grove, sorry, to come in and get some revenge.
Yeah.
So our next week is going to be against Denison.
Going north, baby.
We'll finally go north. Everything else we've been going south for. We're going to go north over to Denison. Their head coach is Brent Whitson. Listen, they were 6-5. 4-3 in district. They got 4th place in this district last year, essentially. And so they lost to Marshall High School out of East Texas. Not to be confused with the Marshall High School out of San Antonio, Texas, but Marshall out of East Texas, 28-20 in the first round. And so listen, they had a solid season last year, and they're not going to want to give up a playoff spot.
No.
And so you know that when we go north, they're going with the expectation of that they're going to have the mindset we need to beat Anna to keep our playoff spot this coming year. And so this isn't going to be a joke game. This isn't going to be a run-over game or anything like that. Denison's going to come out firing, ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. And then we go back into some Frisco schools, right? So we go back south. We hit Frisco Memorial. Head coach Jeff Jackson is going to have a team, again, that had a really hard year last year. The last Frisco team that had that we talked about that had a hard year was 1-9. This one's 2-8. They were 2-4 in district. They placed 5th in their district. At this point, it is what it is. These two teams are going to have to get better to be competitive. But they've got some kids that they can kind of hang a hat on. Like they've got some dudes who are some players. Chase Coleman is one of those kids for them.
Yeah.
He's ranked. I think he's ranked 156th in the nation. I think
something like that. He's 110 or something like that in the state.
Yeah.
But he's a 3-star. He's committed to UCLA. He plays cornerback, 6'2", and 160.
Yep.
So he's another one. Like one of the themes we've seen is we're going to get some tests in the secondary this year.
And and I mean when you got kids that are committed to the likes of like UCLA and USC and Oklahoma and Baylor and some of these, are some big programs, and some of these kids are uncommitted and have a lot of blue blood offers,
18 offers, 20 offers, man. 30 offers, whatever.
And we're only highlighting one. Like that's the hard thing, and we're mostly highlighting kids that are committed. So there's a lot that are uncommitted still.
So we'll hit Memorial up, and then we'll end our season, our regular season, with not ending our season. We're going to end our regular season against Frisco Liberty. Head coach Matt Swinney.
I'm going to let you have that one.
Yeah. Swinney.
It doesn't matter.
They were.
It's our show.
It is our show.
Sorry, Coach. I don't think you'll ever listen to this, but.
If you do, just understand we want to get your name right. So if we said it wrong, you can message us and say, hey, this is how you pronounce it. No big deal. Listen, they're another program that's going to have to look to build. 0-10 last year, 0-8 in district. But this is, in talking to a lot of coaches, my big world is basketball. I talk to a lot of basketball coaches, and so one of the things I see is there's a lot of coaches that love the challenge. They love the fight, and so he's going to be one of those coaches that loves to take that fight and is going to look to build his program and take that challenge on. And so that's going to cap our regular season preview. Yep. And so let's kind of shift focus a little bit away from other people, and let's turn the cameras back in-house to our guys.
It's been fun. So spring gave us an opportunity to see these players.
Yeah.
Spring gave us an opportunity to see the guys that we were hoping to see that were there last year. Guys that were backing up other players get some time in front of on the team on the ones. Have an opportunity to work as a potential starter to show their stuff.
Right.
Spring gave us a chance to see the new guys, some new guys, and I don't think we've still seen everything. There's still guys that are working in and getting ready, and I'm excited about that because it's fun. But I think as we look at that, we sit down and we start looking at the year ahead, and we start saying, well, who are going to be the key players? And the first one, I mean, you cannot help it. It's gonna Zai is our quarterback. He's gonna have to have another good season.
Who is he?
Zai?
Zai?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Zayandre?
Zayandre.
Zoe Andre? No, Zai.
Don't do that to him.
That's the fun from everybody figuring out his name in the playoffs. But
it was rough, man. Those announcers, come on.
Hey, I remember. So somehow we tricked the UIL into giving us a field pass for the state title game last year.
We love it.
Where we shut out Chapel Hill 26-0. And but I remember I was standing next to there was a guy from DeSoto down there, and he came and kind of stood next to me. He saw me wearing the purple, and so he knew you got to be with Anna. You're on Anna's sideline, all that stuff. And he looked at me and goes, "Who's y'all's quarterback?" I said, that's Zai. That's Zai Andre Williams.
Yep.
And he goes, "Oh, where's he going next year?" I said, "Anna High School." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "He's a sophomore."
Yep.
I said, "That dude's a sophomore?" Yeah, Zai's a stud coming back. And listen, he spent as of filming this, the last weekend he had spent at Bama and Ole Miss.
Yep. He's camping there.
Yeah. Camping there at Bama and Ole Miss, doing his thing, putting his skills out there, and so he's not only was it Bama and Ole Miss, but he's got how many D1 offers does he have?
He's already got 4 offers.
Yeah,
D1 offers on the table, and I'm sure this summer season we'll see more roll in for this guy. He just grows in his intelligence, in his poise. He grows in his capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just sitting back and resting on a state championship. This kid's out working hard. And he's doing what he's got to do to prove himself, and that's what I love about Zai.
Yeah,
you know the danger when you win a state championship is to get lazy. It's to
complacency.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm a state champ. Well, that doesn't do well for a sophomore going into his junior year. You gotta and Zai has the right attitude so far. I hope we can get a couple of these guys on our show this year. That's one of the things we're going to try to do this year. So Zai's one of those dudes I'd love to have him on talking. And
I already talked to him. He just told us to tell him when.
All right,
he just told us to tell him when.
You heard it here first. Zai, we coming for you, man. We're coming for you.
One of the things that's been really cool. We've talked about spring football. We talked about 7-on-7 and how some of that's been going, and we've gone to some of that.
And they're rolling.
We've qualified for the 7-on-7 state tournament. That'll be late June down in College Station. But one of the things that I got to see up close was Zai taking command of the whole offense.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's something that he grew in his comfort level as the season went along, and he grew into that. But he is taking command. This is his offense. Right. And Coach Parr has given him some freedom and given him some trust, and rightfully so. And Zai's running with that. But he's not the only guy on the offensive side of the ball we're looking for.
No.
Next dude, I love him.
He
got our SM Who Award.
SM Who, Chumley. Listen, Chumley.
We love Edward Chumley.
He just showed this last year another level of toughness, and it's just he's gonna have to increase that level. You're just running against bigger, badder dudes, and so Chumley's gonna have to do Chumley like what he did last year. You know, he's got an offer from Northeastern State in Oklahoma. He's camped at Lamar and Oklahoma State. You know, this season so far. He's another guy. It would have been real easy for him to just sit back and
say, "Hey, I was the state champ MVP."
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think Coach Parr would ever let these guys do that.
No,
but a kid's got to have his own drive, and that's one of the things I've seen from Zion Chumley in this offseason is that they're not resting on their laurels. They're working hard. Mm-hmm. They're hitting the ground running. They know what's in front of them, right? And they're working to get better for it.
And by the way, I'm standing next to Chumley at the spring game. He's put on some muscle mass, and so the dude is getting prepped. He's getting ready. But I saw some clips from his Oklahoma State camping.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, did he look nice?
Yeah, he did.
He had some sharp cuts, some quick feet, good hands.
It's the stuff we've come to love about Chumley.
He had an angle route where you start out and come back in on a V basically, and he made that linebacker turn around in his shoes. It was cool to see.
Your basketball reference would be did he break the ankles?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good.
And then he exploded away from him, and I loved it. It was cool to see Chumley do that. Hey, we've got a new face coming in. That came into the offense, and he's already making a presence.
Bro's hard to miss. Like kid is like 6'85". Like.
And that's only an exaggeration by maybe 5 or 6 inches.
Right.
He's I think he's listed at 6'4", 6'5" on his Twitter bio or his X bio on these recruiting websites. This young man's name is Ashton Ansley, and he's a difference maker. He camped at SMU. This past couple of weeks, I want to say it was. He has 6 offers from those schools like Florida, Arizona State, Ole Miss, just to name a few of them.
One that we're familiar with in our program, La Tech.
La Tech.
You know, I mean, look, we got a former player who is making his name out there right now. You know, and so it's La Tech's a great school, and you know, you got UTEP and
or it was Arkansas State, and then
South Carolina,
yeah,
and then Ole Miss. Can't forget that.
I said Ole Miss.
Okay,
I said Ole Miss. But Ashton comes in with some expectations, and that's another dude. If you go on the X and you look at some of the stuff he's posting, he's another one working hard. Off-season long, working on his hands, working on his footwork, his explosion in and out of routes after the catch, how he gets off of coverage. It's been cool to see some of those videos come out.
The difference between good and great players is just, how much you work.
Yep.
If you've got the intangibles, if you've got the measurables that people are looking for, it's a matter of how much work you're willing to put in.
Yeah.
And Ashton's posting a lot of videos right now of the kind of work that he's doing, and all that's just going to pay dividends during the season.
He's grinding.
He's a huge frame. His reach is enormous. His capability as a wide receiver, I think, is off the charts. I think he works on his route running. I think he works on his hands. And I think you come out and you're going to end up at seeing a star at the next level.
Yeah, what was it? Superman could leap over tall buildings in a single bound. Ashton Ansley can reach over tall buildings without ever leaving his feet.
Well,
so he's
everybody can do that according to me, but that's
he's gonna be a fun target for Zai to connect with. But this next guy is gonna be a fun guy to protect Zai.
And I think this is what's gonna give Zai the time to do the things he needs to do. You get a kid like Peyton Miller, who is without a doubt, like when you look at recruiting. There are a couple things recruiters are looking for. Right? Yeah. Is a kid telling the truth about who he is? Are they telling the truth about their size, their height, and things like? Because those are things that in person you can't hide. You can't lie about those. They're gonna find those things out. And the thing is about Peyton, everything you read about him, I mean, it's legit. He is
6'4", 285, legitimate.
All that, and he's coming into his sophomore year. He's coming into his sophomore year.
So that means he was a
freshman last year. He's a state champion freshman. I want to get that in again. State champion as a freshman, but yet the kid has 18 and counting offers.
And counting.
D1, like high level. Like this kid is right now. It's another kid who could look at what's in front of him and easily kind of lose sight of the bigger prize.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's working hard. He's just got a good character about him. And it's the kind of thing, being around him for 5 minutes, you're going to love the dude.
He's a great kid.
He's a good dude, man.
Like he's legitimately a really good kid.
Without a doubt. And so it'll be a lot of fun to watch how he anchors that offensive line and how he steps into that role, that next level role, right, of kind of helping lead that offensive line a little bit and get those guys, kind of shaped up and where they need to be. Zai needs time. And
I'll say this, one of the most impressive things about his list of offers is, and this is going to be me bringing it up, not you, so this isn't going to fall on you, is that OU is one of those offers, and OU typically does not offer freshmen.
No, they don't. I mean,
but they offered this guy because he's a man.
Yeah,
he's a man. Hey, listen, our next guy though on the offense is going to be another target, and I love this individual.
This is so much fun for us. Like for you,
we get to build relationships with these kids.
Yeah, and if you followed the stat show last year, we spent so much time talking about Ronald Bell Jr.
First half of the season.
Oh, man, every week we were having so much fun talking about this kid and all that he was doing and the things that he was achieving. And, and it was unfortunate for him to get an injury, but he's back from that 100%.
100%. The dude looked scary good at the spring game and at 7-on-7. He was one of those where if the play clock was running down on 7, because 7-on-7 doesn't have any rushers, and so the quarterback has, I think it's 4 seconds to throw the ball, and if they don't get it out in 4 seconds, it's a sack. And so Ronald Bell was that safety outlet for Zai, and he would throw it into tight windows to Bell, and he was coming down with some incredible catches. But I mean, listen, he's a phenomenal athlete. He can take the top off the defense. We talked about it last year. He can take the top off the defense. He's becoming an even better route runner already. He's working at getting stronger continuously. His frame is already a little bit more filled out than it was last season.
He's camping at a school this summer. Yeah, that we know that we've got one of our desk squad last year has just gone and started summer workouts with Lamar University, and so he's down there camping at Lamar, which is really cool. So Ronald Bell is down in the Houston area. He's got a lot of offers and interest. Right, some D1, some D2. He's not committed yet.
Schools like Baylor, things like that are on that list, and so some offers interest from
Tulsa,
there. He's going to be one of those dudes that I think he's going to have, as much as last year was a breakout season. This is going to be a big season for him, and I'm excited to watch it happen.
Yeah, you want to talk about our guy?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Let's go to the other side of the ball now.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk about this dude. Money, money, money. Cash Money Williams. He's coming into his junior year, and listen, he was one of he was a member of the death squad last year. He was a sophomore last year, linebacker. He would come in and play in certain situations.
He got a lot of good reps.
Yeah,
a lot,
and he's really good. He runs a 4.640. He squats 565 pounds. I'm tired thinking about it. I need to catch my breath just thinking about what he's squatting. I saw a video of it on Twitter.
Dude, if I could even pull 565 off the rack, it would literally break me in half. It would break me in half. Let's be fair.
I pulled up the video of that squat on X, and you and I watched it, and we just. So Cash is going to be a big part of this defense. He's going to be right at the center of it. He's going to be a dude that's coming into that C.J. Miller role, that Grayson Stewart role, kind of like anchoring that linebacker core. And so he's going to have to step up in a big way, but he's poised to make that leap. He's ready.
Yeah.
If there's ever a kid that's ready to do it, it's him. And the reason he doesn't have as many offers or interest out there publicly yet is because he sat behind a death squad.
Yeah,
a literal death
without
squad
a doubt.
that shut out Chapel Hill 26-0 in the state title game,
scoreless,
including a safety where they were scared to snap the ball, so they snapped it over the punter's head. And Nathan Nickerson probably had a safety on that one play.
Probably he had a safety, bro. That's all there is to it.
It was just by the very skin of their.
We love you, Mr. 1000-watt.
1000-watt brother. But hey, listen. So Cash is going to do a great job with that, but he's not the only one that's stepping in.
No, and so this was news. We got a guy that's enrolled and going to be showing up this next year in Zay Gentry. He's a cornerback. He's a 4-star dude with over 30 offers. I think he's a hard commit to SMU. To have that kind of experience, that kind of play capability coming into this team is huge.
He's a 6'1", like 170 cornerback.
I will have to verify that. I can't remember what he was exactly, but I'll take your word for it because
I'm close.
You're pretty good at that.
I'm within an inch or two and probably 10 pounds.
Yeah, no, I'm 5'10". So that's why you don't rely on me for the for height.
Good talk. Good comms on that one.
No, so listen, this guy's going to be as advertised. Looking at some film, watching him play, he definitely he plays with the kind of mentality that the death squad has.
Yes,
and we got to have it. We got to that is now the standard, and every team that comes from here on out has to meet that standard. And I think we've talked about that. If we're going to play at this 5A level, we've got to make sure that these kids are playing at that level or beyond every single year.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we've got some other kids on defense who are going to look to step up. I mean, we got like our Xavion. He said, "Hey, just call me Zay on the show next year." So Zay, we see you.
He doesn't want us messing up his name, is what it comes down to.
I apologize, brother. I do apologize for that. I think I was the one that messed it up, but I apologize, man. We love you. I got to talk to him. He was cool.
So this is a good time right here, real quick. Like for you guys that are longtime listeners, you follow the show, you've subscribed and liked, and you've done the whole bell thing.
Subscribe, by the way. Please do.
Yeah, please. Now's the time to start growing this audience as we get ready to kind of move into the season.
Yeah.
So get the word out. Get the word out among each other. Tell people to hey, make sure you subscribe to the Stat Show. Make sure you're following them. Make sure you're doing that. And here's the other side. Like we're on Instagram. We're on X. We're on all these platforms. Hit us up. If you're worried about how we say your name or what we say, like give us a pronunciation guide, man. Listen, I do the announcement for the baseball team.
Yeah. And
one of my pet peeves is going to other stadiums where people don't take the time to know. People say, "Oh, it's psychological." It's not psychological. It's just, these kids, in my opinion, these kids have earned the right to play varsity baseball.
Yeah.
And they've earned the right to have their names said correctly. Right? I want the Coyotes to win every time, period. So when you come into our house, the announcing, the music, everything's going to have a reason, and it's going to be hostile, period. End of story. But the reality is I'm not going to butcher your name to prove my point. I can do it without butchering your name.
Yeah.
I do my best to learn that, and we want to do our best, guys, because that's why we do the show. The show is for you.
Yeah.
Right? The show's for your parents and grandparents and friends, and the show is for your future schools, right?
To build you guys up, to put your name out there, to pump you up, to encourage you. And so we want, if we said your name wrong, it's understand one, it wasn't done out of, any animosity or with intent to harm. It was just, hey, just a couple of bald dudes,
yep.
just loving on some people out here, and so let us know, talk to us, but like, comment, subscribe, like really and truly do those things, because we've got some really cool things coming up for the fall that I'm excited about. We're gonna roll it out, as time goes, and so we won't talk about all that today, but Zay, we're gonna have a couple of Zays over at corner.
Yeah.
Zay Gentry being one of them moving in, and we got guys like Aiden Palmer's making the switch from receiver last year to moving over to the defensive side. Ryan Sasumi moving over and playing on the defense.
And all these are they're competing right now. Yeah. Everyone's trying to scratch out their starting positions and get that opportunity to play. And they want to play for this team because we're good. Yeah. We are legitimately a good team. Right, and I know for some people it's hard for them to wrap their head around that idea, but we are a returning state champion. We're moving into a different division, but this coach and his staff, they have this team prepared. They're running, they're working, they are doing what they got to do to be ready for this introduction to 5A football. And I, for one, I have a ton of faith. I'm super excited. Yeah. I have every reason to believe, after watching spring practices 7-on-7, I have every reason to believe that we are going to make playoffs, and this team's going to go.
This team is going to compete. I will tell you that. A Seth Parr coach team will always compete, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to get the opportunity to go down to the 7-on-7 state tournament and see some of that. And,
yep.
And I'm excited for fall to come.
Yeah, buddy.
It feels a long way off now, but it's just 2.5 months till the season kicks off.
It's crazy. It's going to be crazy quick. You guys need to be ready. Tailgate will be alive. We'll be cooking and kicking. Yeah.
And kicking. We'll be
from
on
day
some
one.
Sidelines, getting some video.
Yep.
Elevating some things. Just listen. We're excited for what's to come. He's showing you his swag that we got going on right there.
Yep.
The Coyote Football Stat Show pullovers.
Every one of our channels is branded at Coyote Stat Show, right?
Yes.
So every one of the channels is branded the same way. Get out there on Instagram. Get out there on X. Follow us on YouTube. It's all the same, at Coyote Stat Show.
Facebook, if you do Facebook, we got some stuff on there.
Yeah. So it's all there. So get out there and like and subscribe and do all that stuff. And, we're at about 45 minutes, so I think it's probably time.
You guys have heard us yap enough about spring football, so like we always do.
Yeah.
On 3, you want to count us out?
You count us out.
I'll count us out on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Go Coyotes!